morning of November 19th, 1912. Reading in Berkshire. 9 o'clock precisely. A series of regular detonations at intervals of a few seconds is heard for 5 minutes. The next day, at 1:45 in the afternoon, the same detonations. The day after, at 3:30 in the afternoon, the same detonations again. Elsewhere, nothing. Not in London, not in Oxford. All of this happens in Reading, and in Reading alone. Lieutenant Colonel Truman keeps his notebook. H. L. Hawkins, lecturer in geology at the University of Reading, opens his inquiry. No British artillery has fired at those hours. The Kew Observatory has recorded no earthquake. That left the sky. W. F. Denning gives his verdict in the Westminster Gazette. The sounds, he writes, are meteoric explosions. Hawkins refines the hypothesis, a meteor shower of unusually long duration. Sir George Fordham, in the same paper, supports the conclusion. He adds that the phenomena of air shock have, to his mind, never been very fully investigated. It is exactly what he had already written in 1889. 23 years later, his admissions and his omissions have remained the same. To name what one does not know, and not to seek to know it. 3 days running, to the minute, on a planet that turns upon itself at 1,000 kilometers an hour and travels around the sun at more than 100,000 kilometers an hour. For a meteor shower to strike Reading at 9, then the next day at 1:45, then the day after at 3:30, one would have to imagine a swarm pursuing the town through space, adjusting its trajectory each day so as never to miss it. Charles Fort writes simply, how he ever visualized that unerring shower striking one point over this Earth's surface and nowhere else, day after day, if this Earth be a rotating and revolving body. 7 years earlier, in November 1905, in the same local sky over Reading, 4 hours of successive detonations, without anything having been seen. The astronomer H. G. Fordham writes to the Times, the phenomena point, he says, to an explosion in the sky. Then Fordham falls silent. He writes nothing more. He never asks himself in 1912, by what coincidence of coincidences the same repetition has occurred in the same sky 7 years before. 23 years earlier still. October 1889. The Chiltern Hills, 25 miles northeast of Reading. The Reverend Ross Barker writes to the London Standard, across 30 square miles, entire flocks of sheep have broken from their folds by common impulse in a single night, with no identifiable cause. The year before, in November 1888, in the Thames Valley, Dr. Wake had recorded the same phenomenon. 4 miles wide, 10 to 15 miles long. No explanation, no sound recorded by humans. And earlier still, at a time when the Royal Society of London had only just been founded, in October 1661, 2 parish wardens have a pamphlet printed under the title, A True and Perfect Relation of the Terrible Earthquake. They report that in the triangle of Worcester, Hereford and Reading, flaming and monstrous things were seen in the sky while the ground trembled beneath the villages. 350 years and a single triangle. Taken separately, none of these facts has ever been disputed. Taken together, officially, they do not exist.